Hey folks, Rob with Two Guys in a Ride, and today, boy oh boy, we got a treat for you. I am at another museum, and I'm going to introduce you to Josh and let him tell you where we're at and what museum it is and where it's actually located. So Josh, where are we today?
Yeah, Two Guys in a Ride stumbled into the early Ford V8 Museum in Auburn, Indiana.
Boy, what a place to stumble to. You know, it was on my list to come to, but it's amazing because it's in Auburn, Indiana, and I love it because, Josh, I asked you when I walked in, why Auburn, Indiana? Why not Detroit or Dearborn or some other Ford-based community? And you gave me the answer of?
It's the perfect automotive Mayberry here. We're not a big city. There's lots and lots and lots of automotive history here already. That's why we chose to come to Auburn, and it's been a great fit for the past 11, 12 years.
Well, and you told me too, it's one of the fun things is because you got a lot of people that come in, they bring their cars. So if you do, you want to drive your old Ford to this museum just outside of town. You've got the highway on one side, but outside of town you have the cornfields and you have the back roads and the countryside. What better way to drop a top in a Phaeton or a cabriolet and drive through the cornfields with the wind in your hair and a beautiful old Ford. That's awesome.
You never know what you're going to see driving around the countryside here in Auburn, Indiana.
So being that this is the early Ford V8 museum, tell me about the early Ford V8. It was a flathead V8, and what year did it come out?
Yeah, the V8 was introduced in 1932, and it's Henry Ford's last great automotive contribution. A powerful V8 engine for the masses. It was the first powerful V8 engine offered in the low-cost car market. So it was it put everybody in a powerful little car.
So kind of as Henry Ford brought the automobile to the masses, now he brought the V8 to the masses by having it at a reasonable price where average Joe could actually get into that car.
An affordable V8 car.
Okay,
yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
So, you know, like Ford brought to the masses the Model T, an affordable vehicle at that time. So basically he brought an affordable V8 to the masses as well by having an affordable economically priced car. You know, so is that kind of how that went? Because, you know, they had lost their reputation for a sales leader, kind of, and now they were trying to leapfrog ahead of the industry again and catch up, or if not surpass and leave the industry behind.
Yeah, the V8 technology was coming, and when it actually happened, when they made the one-piece in-cast block so that they were able to put these powerful engines into the low-cost car market, that's where Ford Motor Company, grabbed their market share back again. Because it was a constant struggle in the 20s and 30s. Right. There was a lot of competition and a lot of people bringing new and innovative ideas to the table. Ford doubled the size of the cylinders for their engine. Right, they went from a 4-cylinder engine to an 8-cylinder engine.
Yep. And completely different technology as well with that engine. And the other thing is, this was in 32, and 32 was in the depths of the recession. You know, I was at another museum here in Auburn the other day, and I was looking at cars that said original price in 1932, $16,500. That's still a lot of money today. No, maybe not for a car, but in terms of just cash, that's a lot of money. So you had that automobile company, which no longer exists. It went out in the late 30s. But you had others as well catering to that high end. But of course, Ford didn't do that. He never did that. He catered to the masses. So what kind of price range were these cars in 1932 with this new V8 technology?
Yeah, a brand new 1932 deluxe 5-window coupe was $575.
Okay, we're going to see that in a few minutes too. We have Floyd Motors, which is a replicated 1936 Ford dealership. And it's amazing because on the plaques for all the cars that are in there, it shows the prices. And I'm going to ask Josh later, or I'll ask him now actually. I saw one in there for $695. If I add like sales tax and destination fee, you think I can get one of those for less than $1,000 and go ahead and take it home with me today?
We'll wrap it up and we'll put it in our time machine.
Okay.
And
I don't want to pay the price because I'm not sure. I haven't done the math or on the equation yet. But $695 in today's money, I don't know. It's probably still what 30, 40, 50,000 maybe.
yeah, they were only making $1,600 a year, so
Yeah.
that's almost a third of their
Yeah.
total revenue for the year. So
Well, I heard yesterday that the average cost of transaction cost right now, and this is August of 2023, is $47,000. So
for a new vehicle,
for a new vehicle, so you got to think that's well more than a third of the average salary in America. So actually, it seemed like it was way more economical back in the 30s yet, even though again you're in the height of the Depression and people didn't have a lot of money. And one of the cool things is I saw in that the replication of the dealership is that Ford had a program where you could do $25 a month because they knew
Ford financing.
Yeah, Ford financing. That's it. So you could buy the car. They knew people that their target market wasn't about to come in and be able to write a check for $600, $700, $800, even $500. Those were hardworking everyday Americans that were struggling to find work and feed their families in the depth of the Depression, and to be able to come out and do $25 a month. Even then, we think about that. You could spend that at Starbucks in 3 days. But in those dollars in the 30s, $25 was a lot. That was a lot of money. But tell us a little bit more about your museum. Tell us about some of the cars that we see here.
Yeah, so we start our collecting scope in 1932. And we have a great representation of 32 Fords here right off the bat. Deluxe Roadster, Deluxe Phaeton, 2 Deluxe 5-window coupes, one without a body, one with. And then you go right down the line with the Deluxe Model B Woody Wagon that we are fortunate enough to have on loan. It is an exceptional vehicle, Concours restored.
Now, would something like this actually, the whole body and everything rolled off the assembly line, or was it like the early vehicles that they were still coach built? Ford supplied the chassis and the engine and everything, and then you took it to someone to get the rest of it built out?
With the Woodies, they source their own wood from Iron Mountain, Michigan.
Okay.
I don't know about the assembly process of Woodies. If the chassis were all made and they were shipped up north to where they made the wood, or if the wood was brought down to them, I don't know.
Okay.
I know it's not like a Briggs bodied custom car, because the chassis were sent there.
Yep.
Briggs built them all, finished them there. Yep. That's a good question.
Well,
I only know enough to be dangerous sometimes.
Well, that's me too, and what I don't know, I usually just make up. So
I'm not going to do that.
You can't. You're one of the curators here, so you need to speak the facts so people can come and learn more.
Yeah.
But the cool part about this is, folks, if anyone knows about the answer to the question I asked, leave a comment in the section down below and let us know if you knew about how the Woodies were made, if they were made on site and rolled off the assembly line, or if they were sent out to another fabricator that actually added that part as well. Pick it back up. You were talking about you've got a nice selection of the 32s here, and I agree. These are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. We even have one that's a little rough. Spent a little time in the barn, and we didn't clean it up too much. Nope. We left it real patinaed so you can see.
It's gotten to be a worn-out phrase, but they're only original ones, and you've got to leave it like that. You've got to respect how beautiful it is in its current state.
Yeah, someone did paint the body lines and the wheels that green color, but that's the rest of it is pretty well just been maintained.
As she rolled off the line. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
And then our 33s and 34s and 35s out here are exceptional cars. The Model B or Model C, non-Ford nomenclature, but it's the Model 40 4-cylinder. Okay. So that's a really, really exceptional vehicle. The 34 Phaeton out of New Mexico is as well.
That's a stunning car.
Yes. The open cars are always, they have that appeal because you can put the top down.
You look at it and you're like, that can't be a Ford. That's so glamorous. That certainly can't be a Ford, but it's just the lines. It looks like it's in motion. and then that open area, like you were saying, for the cockpit. It's just it's gorgeous.
And in 34, we're fortunate to have a Phaeton and a Roadster.
Right.
And they're both exceptional vehicles. And then the 35s, the service mechanical training truck is a commercial vehicle that's restored to an exceptional standard, which normally doesn't happen. Right. And then a 35 convertible sedan that was done up as the pace car from the 1935 Indianapolis 500, where Amelia Earhart was the referee of the race that year. Oh, okay. This is not the original car.
Right, right. It's made up to resemble what would have been.
One of our members restored a beautiful Concours 35 convertible sedan, and then wanted to give it a story.
Sure.
And in the research that has come about after he did this, the cars were actually a bright red color with bright orange wheels.
Ooh, okay. They stood out on the track, I guess.
Yeah, and Don wasn't going to do that. He did this beautiful green, vineyard green, which it comes off and looks spectacular.
Oh, it does. It does. I don't know any of them that don't come across as spectacular. Let me ask you that too, real quick. I'm going to put you on the spot. I didn't ask you this before we started the video, but do you have a favorite vehicle in here?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Everyone has a favorite,
okay.
and we're within 4 feet of it.
Oh, okay. All right, we're going into Floyd Motors right now. This is the replicated.
Step into the dealership, and right up front, right in front of our showroom floor window, is the 1936 Roadster. Every aftermarket accessory available for a Roadster on it. It's a beautiful specimen, and everything is. Every time I take it out, we run out of gas.
What? So it came with everything but a fuel gauge?
Yeah, that and I'm not done driving it until it runs out of fuel. And then in the deal,
all of these are drivable. All the
Yeah.
vehicles in your museum they still run. They're still drivable. Okay.
yes, a couple of them have stopping issues,
Okay.
but we're working on that as well.
You know, it's the thrill of the ride. No one ever said it was the thrill of the stop.
Yeah.
And it may be a little too thrilling if you can't stop.
And then here around our 36 Roadster is we replicated the Eddie Steep Ford dealership in Dearborn, Michigan. Oh, okay. And so this is what their actual showroom floor backdrop looked like in 1936.
Gorgeous, yeah. So Art Deco, I love all this. So this is a beautiful, beautiful car. So you guys, you've had a chance to take this out. Have you driven an earlier like a Model A?
Oh yeah.
How much difference? Because I have a 1930 Model A. So how much difference in the friendliness of the drive and the ease of the drive is it from the Model A to
The ride of the Ford V8 is significantly better than the ride of a Ford Model A.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on a.
They're a little herky-jerky.
They are extremely herky-jerky, and with those
They
tiny
make up
little
for it with their
tires.
simplicity, though.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, and it takes 5 different things that you got to adjust and squeeze and mash to even start the thing. I'm not sure how simple that is, but once you learn the routine, it's pretty easy. You get it, but it is quite a deal to actually. It is quite a chore to drive a Model A. So I was just curious on, how much nicer a step up were the.
Yeah, step on the button, the car starts.
Okay.
Put it in gear. Everything's right there. There's no. You have all of the levers of your Ford Model A except for a spark, advance, and retard.
Okay.
But everything else is still there.
Okay.
They're just levers on the dash or a button on the dash.
Okay. Gotcha.
Your choke.
Yeah, you got your choke, you got your advance,
your fuel.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So as you walk into the dealership here, there's one of every body style of American production 36 Ford. And we have a couple where we have the deluxe and the standard versions. Okay. And they're great because you can see the difference between a standard and a deluxe car, which is hard to replicate because you need 2 of them.
Right, exactly. And I'm seeing like on the standard, or this is the
Deluxe 2-door sedan.
2-door sedan. It's $565 to where you've got this one over here is $590. And we think today it's like, oh my gosh, that's a difference of $25. Ooh, that's a no-brainer. Well, again, $25 was a lot in that day. That was a significant step in price to a family who was struggling to pay $25 a month.
And then you get into the open cars in the collection with the convertible sedan, the cabriolet, the club cabriolet, and then we have an extremely rare 1936 German Glasser-bodied cabriolet.
Tell me a little bit more about that then. What is the
Sure.
German
So-
Glasser body?
Ford shipped 24 chassis and front clips to the Glasser Body Company. And those 24 cars all had the American front clip on them as well. And then Glasser did a custom everything to them from the cowl back.
Right.
So they put this body line in. This look, you can see it sitting right next to the American one. It's yep, it's raked backwards where the American one stands forward.
Kind of area there.
Yeah. Of course, the interior is all, leather and wood grained and beautiful, and they molded the spare tire into the back, and the lines on it are beautiful.
So then would that have come back to be sold in the U.S. or was that sold in Europe?
No, this was in Europe. This one went with an affluent German family to Argentina at the end of the war.
Okay, well, you got to tell me about this. Now, we've
then
got
you come to this
stainless steel. I love this.
The Allegheny Ludlam stainless steel car, polished out to a mirror finish. It's a striking car, especially in the sunlight.
It would be a blinding car in the sunlight.
Allegheny Ludlam Steel partnered with Ford Motor Company to make these. They supplied the stainless. Ford stamped out enough body panels to put together 6 cars. And they were used as a salesman incentive fleet in Allegheny Ludlam Steel. So the leading salesperson got to drive the car, and the fleet ran for 10 years from 36 to 46, and the stainless steel fleet was retired then. One was wrecked and scrapped. One, they don't know where it is. So there's one out there somewhere. And then the other 4 are all in museums.
And you have one of those here. Wow.
Except-
That's worth the trip alone, folks. You got to come see this thing. So this would have actually been driven on the road.
Yeah, this was the Chicago car. And as the story goes, Allegheny Ludlam gave this car to the dentist who helped them popularize an entire stainless steel dental instrument line. And then his son sold it to a car guy at a show in Dearborn. And then he partnered with a guy in Arizona who polished it out and did the restoration. And then they sold it to our benefactor of all of these cars. And he donated it to us.
That's fantastic. So we're thinking the DeLorean was first stainless steel. Maybe mass produced, but Ford and Allegheny Steel did it years.
Yeah. And they also made a Thunderbird and a Lincoln Continental, all out of stainless.
Are those still around today in collections? Okay.
Yeah. And then the Briggs Body two-purpose sedan is one of 2 known. So these 3 cars right here are one of 1, one of 4, one of 2.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, the commercial stuff is nice. They're usually not this pretty. These have been restored.
These have been restored above and beyond.
Yeah, the panel delivery and the sedan delivery.
The sedan delivery. I'm not sure if it's just the color with the wood and everything and the chrome on it, but it's just a cool classic design on it as well. It's just it's screaming at me for a 2 guys in a ride logo right on the door or either back on this side panel. Yeah, that's a gorgeous vehicle.
Yeah, and then the Woody next to it is exceptional as well.
Again, if any of you know, please leave a comment down below if you know if this rolled off the assembly line or if the body was actually sent somewhere to a former carriage maker to build out that wood body, because it's absolutely exquisite. And of course, the famous best-selling truck in America over the past 938 years, the Ford, you've got the Ford pickup truck, but it's interesting because it comes from lowly times when they basically had I know they had some more commercial ones, but this was more of the average Joe use.
Now, this is just the half-ton pickup truck.
Yeah.
You don't get the F1 series until a couple of years later. Yeah. But the workhorse of the farm, and you can see we depict the farmers and a pickup truck.
And again, this one's 99.9% sure it's over restored from how it would have rolled off the line.
Yeah, this truck actually has an upgraded engine as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's got a 37 engine in it. All of the rest of them have 36 LB engines in them, which most of them have been replaced except for a couple of original cars.
Okay, and then we have the convertible sedan here.
This is the most expensive car sold in 1936.
Okay.
The Bustleback convertible sedan is a mid-production edition, just like the Club Cabriolet. The Cabriolet with a back seat didn't come out until mid-production. The molded trunk into the back of the convertible sedan didn't come out until mid-production as well. And this car has the original paint when it was repainted in 1939.
Wow.
So not quite the original paint, but it goes back quite a ways.
Since 39, so what, 84 years? Yeah. Wow.
And it shows, it's cracked.
Sure.
It's all, it shows its blemishes of being a 1939 paint job, but the pinstriping and everything is all pretty and fresh.
So if we leave the dealership, we walk back out into the main room where you had, so now we've got some 40s and...
Yeah, so you walk out of here, and to stay chronological, you just have to go to the corner, and then you go 1937 through 1940, 40 through 46 here, and then we don't have a 47 or 48. So if any of your listeners out there have a 1947 Ford, anybody style, a 48, we don't have one. But then the collection starts with our shoebox collection. 1949, no more big fat fenders. Everything gets streamlined and pretty. We're post World War II. Production is ramped up.
The Aero and about to get into jet age, not yet, but you're still in the aircraft age. So you've got the bullet nose. So you've got different things like this. Ford styling.
Ford abandons the Ford Blue Oval, one of the most iconic logos of all time, and they go to a script Ford and then the shield.
Right. I've always liked the shield, but you're right. I mean, they're back to it now, the blue oval, but the shield was always beautiful. I remember that when I was a kid, my stepdad had a '54 Ford F100, and I remember that shield. Thought that was the coolest looking car logo that I've ever seen. But these are beautiful.
Yes, and so we upgraded our 1950. We had a deluxe 4-door sedan, and then we had this beautiful 2-door custom deluxe donated, and it's an amazing restoration. This car, it's 900 plus points. She got a Dearborn with it because it's right there on the car, but
And then, I swear, I don't know if it was the same thing, but if you remember the old Mayberry shows, Andy Griffith, Mayberry, Aunt Bee, I think, had something very, very similar to this 53 Ford Custom line here on the television show. Of course, don't know the color, it's all black and white, but I remember she had something like I think it was the first new car she'd ever had. It was a whole episode or something like that around the car, so it was kind of cool. But that car definitely reminds me of that episode. What else have you got back here? I see you've got some racing and some trucks and a few tractors.
Yeah. We're telling the entire story of Ford Motor Company between 1932 and 1953.
I love the display on the wall.
Yes, you can't have a flathead museum without having a whole bunch of aftermarket speed equipment because...
SoCal Speed Shop, you name it. I mean, look at it. It's all there.
We have a collection of aftermarket speed equipment that's up on the walls. Then you can actually see them in practice here.
Yes.
We've got a 1937 stock car, some different racing setups, and then of course you go street rodding, hot rodding all day long.
Look at that.
We've got a couple of hopped up engines and race cars. And then our tractor collection as well, because Ford did get into a lot of agricultural avenues. Anyway, they could sell units.
Right.
And we've got a bunch of original ones. We've got the earliest known serial number 8N over there. And then we have a tractor with a turbine engine.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Ford Motor Company actually made one of these, and Marvin Bauman from Monroe, Michigan recreated it because he could, and it's awesome.
56,000 RPM Boeing B-52 aircraft, gearbox, New Holland tractor.
Yeah, it goes through three different transmission applications before it gets to the.
I'll bet
just to bring it all down.
You've got to bring 56,000 RPMs down. I don't know any transmission one that could do that. That's amazing. Wow, I never knew that. I never knew that. So that was a Typhoon. Gas turbine engine, hydrostatic.
The Typhoon was the original one that Ford Motor Company built. So when Marvin recreated it, he made the Typhoon 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then you get into our commercial collection where we've got a fire truck, a cab over wrecker, a custom a one-off school bus, and a 1.5 ton
delivery or
mechanical dump bed.
Yeah, okay.
A 1.5 ton with a mechanical dump bed. And the 38 is just a car that just came in from Pennsylvania. And then we have a shop with some of the tools and diagnostic equipment of the era.
Okay. Well, and then you've got archives as well.
Yes.
So folks can come and learn about this. So again, folks, I mean, this is an amazing museum. Again, give us the location of where you're at, and can people find you online and on social media?
Yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Early Ford V8 Museum.
In Auburn, Indiana.
In Auburn, Indiana. I'll plug our website. I'll do the whole thing.
Yeah, do that.
You can find us at FordV8Foundation.org and on all the social media outlets at Ford V8 Museum.
But the best way to find them is get in your car, drive down here. You've got to see this. I'm sure they've got a great website. I looked at it already. It does give you a snippet of what you're going to see here, but you got to stand in here and look at it. And one of the cool things I want to give you a shout out about is a lot of car museums, they obviously you're not going to touch any of these, but they rope them off to a point where you can't even get near it to get a photo or to even absorb the car and to appreciate the car. They've left space between all of their cars so you can carefully maneuver around them to be able to see. Is this right? Can I continue to say that is what that's for?
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I just didn't invite myself to roam around them. But no, you have done that, and I really appreciate that because you get to experience the vehicles a lot more by getting, and there's a lot of folks out there, a lot of you, that's why we're watching this video, that are trying to restore one of these vehicles. So hopefully our videos and coming down here is going to allow you to walk around and get some snippets of information on how to correctly restore your video. So all those things matter, and I think you guys get that, and it seems that they really do. The archives, the history, everything they're doing here, really inexpensive to come into this museum, but it's definitely worth the trip. Josh, thank you so very much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Really appreciate it. Oh boy, we love it. I'm absolutely thrilled. And
I'm excited. I'm going to be on Two Guys in a Ride.
Oh, there you go. Hey, I don't know. We're not that big of a deal. But hey, we appreciate your time and thank you for everything that you guys do to preserve this history. It's extremely important, and we certainly appreciate it. And I know our viewers do too.
We enjoy doing it.
Awesome. Thanks for watching. Josh, you said, and this, I'm going to let you introduce where we are because I'm going to mangle it. Because
Henry Ford's last great automotive contribution, a powerful V8 engine for the masses. It was a low-cost engine. I didn't say that right.
That's okay.
It's
Try it again. So, yep, there you go.
It's a...
You still didn't say it right.
Gigabytes. Yes, it was. That's where the.
How many times you done this with me?
I know. 650 times.
Have you already used up all your words for the week? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Okay.
Like everyone just goes.
Right. I'm frozen now.
Yeah.